briefly overview, and we will be going over some questions that we frequently receive regarding the Conversation Partners program as well. And then we will go over the Conversation Club program, just an overview of what it is. And we're just going to touch on this semester's campaign that we're running for the Conversation Partners program, or the Conversation Club program, excuse me, called Share Your Story. And at the end, we'll have some time for some questions and answers if anybody has any questions about anything that's being presented. Of course, at that time, we can maybe unmute our mics so we can say them freely, or at any time you can enter a question in the chat for me to return to at the end. So with that, so just about the Office of ESL Services, under normal operations, our location is in the main building, 1.210, and the office is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Of course, this is not normal operations. We are currently working remotely until December 31st. However, we're still here and we're still working, and you can contact us by any of these ways listed. So we have our main office phone line, that's 210-458-7677. And we have, you can contact me directly regarding either of these two programs that we're talking about today. And my email is there, teresa.valaves@utsa.edu. Or for anything related to these programs or anything else related to ESL, you can contact us at eslservices@utsa.edu. And I'm going to also put that contact information in the chat for y'all's reference. For later. All right. So the Intensive English Program, or as we often call it, the IEP. What is this? This program has three main aims. All right, we serve students that are learning English, and so we aim to teach English for academic purposes. We aim to familiarize the students with U.S. culture, and we aim to promote intercultural awareness. So the Conversation Partners and Conversation Club programs encapsulate both of these last 2 points, right? These students are often international students, and so they may need to get more exposure with U.S. culture in order to understand it. And we also want to help promote their awareness, right, of different cultures. So that's not only U.S. culture, but perhaps other ones as well. Conversation Partners and Conversation Club aim to connect. So the Conversation Partners program, what is that, right? So this is kind of our official description. The ESL Services hosts the Conversation Partners program, which pairs native English speakers with international students in the Intensive English program for the purpose of helping students practice their English, while also giving native students or native speakers the opportunity to meet people from different parts of the world. Native speakers can be students, faculty, or staff of UTSA, and the Conversation Partners program is a voluntary commitment. So this is just showing how there's two sides, right? The Intensive English program students want to learn English, that's why they join. And for you guys, this is an opportunity to meet people from different parts of the world. So this is why we're offering this, right? To create these connections and to promote this intercultural awareness amongst the community. So let's take a look at some questions that we often receive regarding the Conversation Partners program. So first, what does a conversation partner do, right? What specifically is going to be expected of you? Now, conversation partners are expected to be volunteers, right? This is a voluntary commitment. This is not, you know, for any specific program or anything. You are volunteering your time. And we understand that. And that's why we ask that you meet for at least 1 hour a week at the minimum. So you can meet more if you like, you can meet more times if you like, but we are not asking for you to be teachers. We're not asking you to be their tutor, to be there 24/7 for any questions that they have. That's not necessarily what it's about. It's about being there for this minimum commitment of 1 hour a week to meet with this ESL student. We do expect for conversation partners to meet throughout the whole semester for which they applied. So this is just to say that if you commit for the semester, you're really committing for the whole semester. So if you apply for the fall 2020 semester, we expect for you to be meeting throughout. We understand, of course, that midterms come up, right? Finals come up. And that's fine. You know, if you have to reschedule a meeting, you miss a meeting, that's all fine. That's something that you can work out with your partner. And keep in mind as well that the ESL students are also students. They have their own quizzes and tests, midterms, finals that they're working on as well. So, and some of them even are part-time students and may also have jobs, families, the like. So we understand that the schedule may have to be flexible. We understand that you may have to, change when you meet. That's all fine. There's no problem with that. We just ask that you keep the communication going between the partners. We don't want anyone getting ghosted in the middle of the semester when they think they've made this commitment, right? And we ask that conversation partners speak English at least half the time spent with the ESL student. So if you are meeting for 1 hour a week, do the math, at least 30 minutes should be spent just speaking English. And we have actually lots of students who apply to be volunteers who are bilingual, multilingual, want to learn another language, and that's fine. We love that. Anything that's promoting education and learning, we fully support. We just ask that you make sure it's mutual, right? So if you want to speak to your partner in their native language to practice or to learn, that's totally fine. We just ask that you make sure it's an even split, right? Half of the time you can spend speaking that language if you're interested, and then the other half have it be English because they too want to learn. They are supposed to be practicing their English. Maybe they'll just want to speak in their native language, and that's fine, but that's not the point of the program, right? Try to enforce this if you do have a student that's like this, who's just like, oh, but very often we'll have, for example, we have a lot of Spanish speakers in the program. If you speak Spanish, they might think, oh, it'll be easier if we just speak Spanish the whole time. But they need to learn too, so try to keep it 50-50. And with that in mind, we do, when we are partnering the partners, we do look at the languages spoken as a way to partner. So if we see, oh, you are bilingual in English and Arabic, then yes, we will, if you'd like, we can place you with an Arabic speaking student who's learning English. Of course, if you don't want that, if you explicitly want someone who speaks a language you don't speak, you can specify that as well on your application. And we do our best to honor all of those kinds of requests. What else does a conversation partner do? Oh, here's some don'ts, things that they don't do. They're not tutors. As I said before, you're not expected to be at their beck and call. You're not expected to do their homework for them or help them with assignments. The intensive English program has a system for tutoring. And so if you do join, and if the student is asking, hey, can you help me with my homework? Or, oh, I have just, there's some questions about this assignment. Why is this wrong? Maybe one or two questions is fine, but if they have lots of questions, want you to help them with grammar topics, help them with assignments, refer them to me. You've got my email there, and we will set up a tutoring program with them. We'll figure out what it is that they need and contact their teachers about that. That is not your responsibility. You're just a volunteer. Otherwise, we would be hiring you, right, to be a teacher. Now, conversation partners, right? Do not date their partner. This is not a dating service. We are not here to pair you with your soulmate, your future boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. No. We want this to be a relaxed setting where both students feel like they can speak and communicate and not have any, any of this kind of pressure or anything like that. With this in mind, we do usually by default pair same gender students. So that's part of the application as well, that you mark, okay, what your gender, and if you are comfortable with a partner of the opposite gender. Of course, that doesn't always mean that you're going to be good friends, or it doesn't mean that you're not going to want to date, what have you. But please mark this if this is something that you're concerned about, and we take those very, very seriously. If anything like this, were to happen, we take it very, very seriously and would terminate that partnership. We want everyone to just feel safe and comfortable. So this is kind of a relevant question, especially this semester. How do conversation partners meet, right? Given the fact that we're doing lots of things telecommuting, we're doing a lot of things online. During this time, we are asking that conversation partners do work to arrange virtual meetings. This is just for the safety of everyone, keeping in line with the principles that UTSA has been putting forward about public health. We ask just to err on the side of caution and arrange for some way to meet virtually. So this can include using Zoom, right? All of you are here right now. You can operate it to some extent. And it's a great way to be able to meet with your partner. And most of the students in our program, well, I would say all of the students in our program are familiar with using Zoom, as this is how we conduct events. So this is a great option. You can, of course, also use FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Google Hangouts, whatever it is that you're comfortable with. If you don't want to give out your personal, your Facebook, then maybe through your email, or, maybe through Zoom, right? They don't need your personal information that way, if that's something that you're not comfortable with sharing with your conversation partner. And of course, if you have any difficulty arranging this technology-wise, feel free to ask me. I would be more than happy to help you and your partner figure out a way to meet. Sometimes the partners, as they're ESL students, sometimes they're technology words they're not as familiar with, and if you ever have any trouble communicating that, please let me know, and I will certainly be there to help. And another question, why volunteer? Why do this? What could be some motivations to participate in the program? And as a conversation partner, it's an opportunity to gain a lot of things, give a lot of things, and gain a lot of things. So one thing you can do as a conversation partner is share your culture. Sometimes the volunteers are students who have never been out of the country, only speak English, but they want to be able to share their experience with international students. And that's great. We love that. This goes back all the way to our main goals of our program, which is to familiarize the students with US culture. So we highly value those kinds of volunteers. We also have many volunteers who perhaps are first generation, their parents moved here, or their grandparents, what have you. Maybe they speak another language at home. That's awesome too. That experience is going to be so different for these international students as well. So sharing all of these experiences, they're all American experiences, with our international students helps promote their intercultural awareness, and it allows you to share your story, share your culture, what is important to you. You know, of course, you only have to share as much as you're comfortable with, but some things that our students find very interesting are the differences between our cultures. How do you celebrate certain holidays? You know, what's your relationships like in the family? What's growing up like? All of these things that perhaps we take for granted or we don't think is very interesting can actually be a very interesting topic of conversation for our students. And otherwise, they might not have a chance to learn about these things. So it's a great opportunity to share. And of course, on your side, you can learn about different cultures, right? You can learn about your partner's culture, what it's like for them in their home country, their experience, perhaps coming to the US. What is that like? Something maybe that you've never experienced before, never felt before, you can learn about through them. Students love sharing their culture, especially when they come here. You know, they want to hold on to those bits of culture that you know, remind them of home, and you can give them an opportunity to share those things with you, and you can have an opportunity to learn as well. And that's indispensable, especially now that traveling is getting more difficult, or it's been a bit more difficult. You still have this chance to experience other cultures and other parts of the world just by talking to someone who's already in your community. So this, I think, is one of the best parts of this program, speaking honestly. Of course, it's an opportunity to also make a new friend. It's not to say that your partner is going to be your best friend for life. We're not, you know, we don't know exactly where it'll go, but many of our partners do stay friends past the semester that they signed up for. We had a handful of students from the summer program who are still keeping in touch. They emailed me asking, hey, is it okay if we keep communicating? Can we keep doing conversation partners this semester? And I said, go for it. If you're already talking, you know, you don't need my permission. If you're already friends, you know, you don't need to ask me to say that that's okay, right? If you become friends, that's great. Very often partners will trade phone numbers and just end up texting throughout the week, you know, up to their meeting. Sometimes they meet up. In the past, when we were going out more, students would meet up, go places, get a cup of coffee, show them around San Antonio, what have you. And you know, even if maybe it's a little more limited now, you can still build those friendships for the future. You know, a future cup of coffee, a future trip, a future sightseeing journey. You never know where these relationships will take you. And of course, you can expand your worldview. So kind of linking back to learning about different cultures, each international student has an experience, a point of view that is so unique and so special. And being able to talk to them one-on-one and hear that from their mouth, that is an experience that is indispensable. It's an incredible opportunity. And just for that, I think it really makes this program worth it. And this is an opportunity to grow personally as well as professionally. So personally, of course, expanding your global view, becoming a better global citizen, making a new friend, perhaps. These are all ways that you can grow personally. But we've also seen that this is a way for people to grow professionally as well. This is something else that you can specify on your application, your degree program, or whatever it is that you are pursuing. We can match you with students with similar goals. Our students, we have a range of students, from students that have just graduated from high school to students that are professionals within their own country. The intensive English program takes all of these students. And so sometimes we have students that already are established in their career and just want to grow it, or want to move to the United States with their career. Either way, there are often doors that they can help open for you if you are interested in going to another country, if you are interested in a certain career. They can give you valuable advice on that as well. Just because they're learning English doesn't mean that they don't have any other expertise, right? And so these are all things that we have seen happen within the program. Of course, every student is different, all of their stories are different, but these are all the possibilities that are open to you when you sign up and join. Of course, you may find your own reason, you may have a different reason to volunteer, but these are ones that we have seen. And then, of course, very practical question, how do I join? So first thing you have to do is complete the volunteer application form, which you can find at this website, our website, esl.utsa.edu/conversation-partners. I'll also be linking this in the chat as well. Please keep in mind on this page that you want to download the volunteer application form, not the international student application form, right? As the volunteers. Let me put that in the chat. All right. And then the next step, once you have completed the form, you will submit the completed application form to eslservices@utsa.edu. The email is also at the bottom of the form, but I will also paste it in the chat. So once we have received your application, we will send you a confirmation that we have received it, and then you will get an invitation to the Conversation Partners orientation. So at the Conversation Partners orientation, we will go over some of the expectations of a partner, so similar to before, but more in depth. We'll go over the specific rules and expectations that we have for both the volunteers and for the students. And we also provide lots of tips on how to keep the conversation going, right? We know that it isn't always easy to just sit down with someone you don't know and speak to them. And that's fine. We have in our handbook, and we go over at the orientation, some ways to get the conversation going, some ideas for conversation starters, and what to do when there is that language barrier, right? These students can be of all levels. We have beginners through advanced students. So at times there is going to be a little miscommunication, maybe a language barrier, what have you. And that's fine, that's part of the process. And we have tips and tricks some do's and don'ts to help you know what to do if you are in that situation. And of course, at any time when you are participating in the Conversation Partners program, if you have any questions about this, how do I communicate with my partner? The meaning of this word, they didn't understand, or what can I do to help communicate with my partner better? We're here to help you and to support you in all of that. We want it to be a good experience for everyone. And of course, at the end of the Conversation Partners orientation, we will have time for you to meet your partner for the first time and to arrange your schedules to figure out a suitable time for you to meet every week. And again, going back to, as I said before, that meeting time is completely up to you. Whatever makes both of you feel comfortable, whatever works with your schedules. We just ask that you try to make it a virtual meeting just to keep everyone comfortable and everyone safe, right? And if you have any trouble with scheduling or with communicating with your partner, please let us know. You know, sometimes emails get lost somehow, you know, someone loses a number. That's fine. Don't give up on them, you know. Let us know, let me know, and I will reach out directly to them to make sure that you guys can open up that line of communication. All right, so that was kind of our big Conversation Partners. That was kind of the biggest chunk of the presentation. And I don't see any questions so far, so I guess I'm hoping everything is crystal clear in that case. So, and of course, we'll have time for questions at the end, if there are any. We're going to move on to Conversation Club. So, very similar, right? Both about conversation. What's the difference? Conversation Club is more of a group setting, right? So we hold this weekly Conversation Club that we host for intensive English program students and all volunteers. It's actually open to anyone in the community that would like to join. So even if you walk away from this and you say, I don't have time to commit to meeting someone one-on-one and figuring that out with my schedule, I don't think I can do that. If that sounds like what you're thinking, you can still come to Conversation Club. Anyone is welcome to join. And we just extend a special invitation to all of our volunteers as well, because it's a great place to, you know, not only continue the conversations they're having with their partner, but also to meet other international students. And so this is just a way to kind of bring our communities together, right? The students in the intensive English program, as well as other domestic students in the UTSA community. We even invite alumni, you know, UTSA alumni, intensive English program alumni to join us during Conversation Club as well. This is actually very special this semester because as you can see in the pictures, normally we would be sitting around a real table, but this semester we're sitting around a table in Zoom. And this has actually become a great benefit for some of our alumni who have gone back home, are in their home countries. They can come in and still be a part of the UTSA community from thousands of miles away. Just this week, we had at our Conversation Club, we had students calling in from Mexico, from Costa Rica. A couple of weeks ago, we had a student call in from who had graduated a year or two ago, calling in from Saudi Arabia, just to say hi and see, you know, what people are doing and what we're talking about, and to just keep that connection strong. So in a way, this semester has kind of this unique, gives us this unique opportunity to be connecting people from all around the world through Conversation Club. So as I said, we are meeting on Zoom, and we meet every Wednesday at 4 p.m. For 1 hour, just on Zoom. And There's no registration required. You can join at any time. It's a recurring meeting that is always using this link, which I'll also drop in the chat. And yeah, like I said, there's no registration required. You can come anytime. You can skip a meeting if you don't have the time to come. It's, we're not taking attendance or anything. Its intention is to be a kind of a relaxed place for the students to just speak freely. For the intensive English program students, this is a great way for them to just listen and speak in a natural way. It's not structured like in a classroom. It's just like you would just be having a conversation with friends. And of course, for our domestic students, we see this as a place where you can, again, share that culture, build the community, build that intercultural awareness, and just meet some new people. Often we have international students who are not sure how to connect with domestic students, and this is a great way that you can help facilitate those connections. So like I said, you can join any Wednesday at 4 p.m. Through this link. You can save it onto, save it in a notepad document on your desktop, whatever you want to do. If you lose it, you can email us at ESL Services, and we'll send it straight to you. But we just invite you to just come check it out and see what we're talking about and meet some new people. And speaking of what we're talking about, this semester we have launched this campaign called Share Your Story. And this campaign is focusing in on, again, this value of sharing our culture and sharing your personal experiences, your point of view, in order to expand everyone's intercultural awareness. So these are just some examples of topics that we have gone over in the past month. So for each of these, this is sort of the conversation starter topic, right? What everyone sort of brings to the table initially, and then we see where the conversation goes from there. Sometimes it changes a lot, sometimes we stick to the topic. It's whatever people are feeling at the time. Again, it's meant to be an informal kind of conversation. So for example, we had people bring their pet or favorite stuffed animal. That was a really fun one because we could see where it's really playing to the strength of Zoom, where animals always want to run into the frame anyway. And we were making it on purpose. So you just lift up your cat, you lift up your dog, and that was a really fun one to see some really cute animals. There were some really precious animals in that conversation club. And then this past week, we talked about our favorite book or magazine, and got some really great book recommendations from some of our students. And that was a great way also for the students learning English to learn more about some English language books, and for other students to learn about the books that they're reading in their language, in Spanish, for example. So if that's something you're interested in, that's a great way to kind of get recommendations from students, from your peers, about what they like. And then a couple weeks ago, we had this very dangerous one where we spoke about our favorite foods and snacks from our culture. And my goodness, that was a very difficult one to sit through because I wanted to get up and get a snack because everything was so delicious that people were talking about. And I think everyone learned about a dish or a snack that they hadn't heard of before. And this is the point, this is kind of our goal of Share Your Story. Sharing something that you feel strongly about, that you feel passionately about. Like, look, this is my favorite dish ever. This is my favorite book ever. And sharing that enthusiasm with other people is such a special experience, because it lets you connect with what people in other countries are doing, and or maybe even people within your own country are doing. Either way, we all have something to share, and that's something that we strongly believe in. That story that you can share is going to broaden someone's horizons, broaden someone's point of view, and their story can do the same for you. So that's why we're focusing on this semester. And truly, I know I put it in the, I've said this before, but this is a place where lifelong intercultural relationships and friendships can start. It's just from something as simple as a conversation, just meeting someone for 1 hour a week to talk to them you never know where that's going to take you. So we really hope that you're able to take this opportunity and see where this takes you. You know, there's so many benefits for you. There's so many benefits for the student that could be your partner, that you never know where it'll lead in the future. And with that, with quite a bit of time to spare, I'm open to any questions, and I'm actually going to link as well our social media for the UTSA Office of ESL Services, because this is where we're going to post our updates about Conversation Club every week. So as you could see, we had these flyers with the different topics. Every week we are going to post a new flyer with the next week's topic, so that way you can come prepared. Of course, the topics that we pick, we try not to make them too difficult. It's not homework, right? But just so that you are aware that we're gonna ask you, hey, what's your favorite book? Or what's your favorite dish? Just so that you're ready for it. So those are in the chat. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and that's where we post those things. And I'll open up the floor to any questions that anyone may have. You can feel free to use the chat, or you can unmute your mic if you wish as well. Okay, I see all right, the question is, how often can we volunteer? If you volunteer multiple times, do we get different partners every time? That's a good question. Yes, sometimes we have volunteers that come back, right? Maybe they have to skip a semester, but then they come back the next year. And this is partially up to you. If you want to continue with the same partner, then absolutely you can continue with the same partner. If you do not want to continue with the same partner, that's fine. We won't tell them. It'll be between us, and we can pair you with a new partner. Or of course, if your partner leaves and can't do it anymore, then we will also pair you with a new partner. But for any reason, if you are volunteering for more than one semester, if for any reason you want to switch, or you feel like you know, if you're not comfortable, or if you just want to meet someone different, that is perfectly fine, and it'll stay strictly confidential. We won't let them know. That's a very good question. That does happen sometimes. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thanks for the question. Something else actually that question reminded me of, if for whatever reason you cannot continue, or if your partner cannot continue, we will repair or find a different arrangement, so that you know, everyone can be comfortable and get what they need. Sometimes students volunteer and they need them for volunteer hours, right? So if your partner drops in the middle of the semester and says, oh, I can't do it anymore, then we want to be able to support you. We want to be able to find a partner for you so that you can continue getting those hours, right? So if that is the case, then we'll work with you on figuring out a new arrangement. reminded me of that. Good question. If we sign up to volunteer, when would orientation be? We are finalizing the details for early October, which is starting now, but it would be very soon. Yes, we're finalizing those details, and we would let you know once we receive your application. Good question. And that would be through Zoom as well, the orientation. Good question. Let's see. Oh, we have a lot of people here. I didn't even notice. Yeah, any other questions? And I can link one more time as well, the application, because I know I did it a little earlier in the presentation. So just so that it's right there for you. And again, be sure that you are completing the volunteer application and not the international student application. And if there's any confusion, of course, we'll reach out to you and let you know. But I think it should be hopefully relatively straightforward. Any other questions? You can feel free to unmute as well if you prefer. I know some people prefer to speak or have trouble finding the chat. That's fine. I will also link one more time my lovely Conversation Club Zoom link, which you can access at any time on a Wednesday. Wednesdays at 4. All right. No other questions? I think seems like people are good. I'm curious, has anyone heard of either of these programs before, or is this the first time you've heard about it? You can just use the little yes and no at the bottom. Is this the first? So I guess the question, have you heard of it before? I see a no, some no's. First time. Well, I'm glad that you came and you were able to learn about it. Anyone see any of the flyers or know anybody who participated before? That's easy. Well, I'm glad that you all were able to join and you're able to learn something, hopefully. Learn more about our programs. All right, guys, seems like maybe no more questions, which is good, I suppose. Hopefully everything was very clear and we know what to do moving forward, right? Submit an application, come to Conversation Club if you like. And Locke, is there anything else that you need to announce? Anything about the
Yeah. Okay. First off, thank you so much, Teresa, for that presentation. It's really informative, and I hope a lot of you are motivated to join Conversation Club. It's a big deal to really just get involved with students who are coming in, and they need to begin that dialogue with other students in their new host country, right? Really just get integrated in, and it's a good opportunity for you to just learn other cultural aspects from these incoming students. So it's just a great exchange overall. So even if you're not going abroad, you can have a piece of that here. So it's a great opportunity.